Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. We've got Carl Zha in the house. Carl, our Deputy Prime Minister, the Foreign Minister of Pakistan, is in China. What's going on?
Well, the Chinese foreign minister Wang Yi has met his Pakistan counterparts. They have issued a joint statement which urge immediate ceasefire from both sides and reopening the Strait of Hormuz to commercial shipping. Now, this is pretty big because I think this comes at a juncture when the U.S.-Israel war against Iran has entered its 1 month phase, and Donald Trump is desperately looking for a off ramp. I mean, we see him messaging every now and then that we won bigly, we won so much, we destroy everything in Iran. But right now, for Donald Trump, the problem is this is something that he started, but not something he could finish. Um, and for China's point of view, China's top priority is and China's preference is still peace and stability because without China's trade relationship with West Asia is obviously being impacted. China has a lot of tons of investment in GCC, and the GCC nations are hurting because they are the one hosting U.S. bases, so they have come under intense fire uh, from Iranian drones and missiles attack. So, in addition to that, Pakistan not only is very close to China, but it's also pretty close to United States. And I have a inkling that the Pakistan foreign minister traveling to China to make this joint statement was done with the U.S. knowledge, because U.S. for its part, we know Donald Trump is desperately looking for off ramp, so he might at this point appreciate somebody takes a lead. In this case, Pakistan and China. Now, the two side issue, the joint statement, the issue, they have 5 points. It's the 5 points. One is immediate ceasefire of hostilities with humanitarian assistance allowed to all war affected area. So I guess that will include both GCC and Iran. And number two, start the peace talks as soon as possible under the principle of safeguarding the independence and security of Iran and Gulf states. No, there's no mention of Israel here. They're just talking about Iran and Gulf states. And all party will commit to refraining from the use or the threat of use of force during peace talk. Again, this is obviously aimed toward United States because now U.S. had twice attacked Iran in the middle of negotiations. So Iran has stated they do not trust United States anymore. They do not trust U.S. can engage in peace talk in good faith. So it's very important to have that guarantee. And I think China, of all people, can have can throw its weight around, given that guarantee for a peace talk without coercion and sneak attack by United States. And also, it's very important that they included the line the principle of safeguarding independence and security of Iran and of course Gulf states, because this is one of the actual demand of Iran for their condition for peace talk. Iran says they want a guarantee, security guarantee, and particularly a guarantee that United States and Israel would not attack again. Of course, for Iran, that meant U.S. pulling out of West Asia. Take all its U.S. bases and go. Well, they don't have to take all the U.S. bases anymore because they're all destroyed. We have reports that 13 U.S. bases have basically been rendered uninhabitable. So this might be a hard pill to swallow for the U.S. because if even if Trump declares victory and go home, that means the entire U.S. empire system in West Asia lays in tatters. This is essentially a defeat, a U.S. withdrawal from the region. They have already done so, by the way. They already pulled their troops back from Iraq, outside the Iraq Kurdistan area. This is after how many years after the war supposedly ended? So in a way, Iran is helping to decolonize West Asia right now. Number three of this joint statement: the parties to the conflict will immediately stop the attacks on important infrastructure, including energy, desalination plants, and power facilities, and peaceful nuclear infrastructure such as nuclear power plants. So again, this is also aimed toward United States because Donald Trump, again, he had threatened to attack Iran's vital power grids. And Israel did attack Iranian gas plant and they did attack Iranian desalination plant. And Iran has retaliated against desalination plants and energy facility in the Gulf countries. So this is number three. This is really because really to contain this conflict. This need to happen because this affects the whole world. Now this is a global energy crisis. Even if the peace were restored today, even if the Strait of Hormuz were open today, it will take them at least 6 months to bring the production back up to the pre-war level. Just for the fact they have to rebuild everything. Number four, the parties will allow early and safe passage of civilian and commercial ships and restore normal passage through the strait as soon as possible. Of course, this is something that pretty much all everyone wanted. They want to return to normal. They want to be able to pass the Strait of Hormuz. And number five, conclusion of agreement for establishing a comprehensive peace framework based on principle of UN Charter and international law. Um, yeah, I mean, again, this is also aimed toward United States. U.S. obviously carry out this aggression against Iran without regards for UN Charter and international law. And go back number two. There's a specific clause that
I
says
just love this
refrain
one. I
from
love the number second point. This is the best point in the entire thing. It goes against everything almost.
yeah. And I go back to number two.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
party must commit to refrain from the use or the threat of use of force. Oh, I'm sorry. Number
Three.
three.
Yeah, that's number
Uh,
three.
wait.
Security of non-military targets, the principle of protecting civilian and military.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
The people, they should refrain from attacking peaceful nuclear infrastructure, such as a nuclear power plant. Now, this is something that United States and Israel has done in the past. It claimed that Iran's nuclear facility is for producing weapons. So these are basically to get this is kind of the assurance that Iran wanted. Iran just want guarantee that there will be no further attacks. Um, and I think it's a good proposal, but whether this will be accepted by both sides, this remain to be seen. Um, I think for this to work, there has to be interest um, from either side to for a peaceful settlement. And a lot has to come from United States and Israel because they're the party who initiated the conflict, and especially in their sneak attack during previous negotiations. So the guarantee, the safety guarantee that Iran stop must be uh, this thing must be guaranteed. And how is that going to be guaranteed? That we have to see how they can work out a mechanism for that to work. But I think China does carry the weight and can put its weight behind such security guarantees.
So let's go back to point number two. Start of peace talks as soon as possible. Sovereignty, territorial integrity, national independence, and the security of Iran and the Gulf states should be safeguarded. This is like all these points are for the US. It's like aimed at the US. China and Pakistan supports the relevant parties in initiating talks, with all parties committing to peaceful resolution of disputes and refraining from the use of or threat of use of force during the peace talks. Uh, I think you are right. I mean, to land, the will to go forward on this is very important. But before all this happened, Carl, there was this meeting between the, let me just bring it back, between the foreign ministers here in Pakistan. The Turkish foreign minister was here, the Saudi foreign minister was here, the Egyptian was here, and Pakistani, and they went through like a discussion, a meeting on peace talks here. And then after that, our foreign minister came to China. So it's not only these guys on the table. As you said, there is a chance that the US also has something in this. They are in this.
Yeah, I mean, like right now, these are feelers. These are basically trial balloons. They're gonna float these ideas out there and see how whether there will be any acceptance. And for I think it's a start. I think it's a good start. As you mentioned, Pakistan has contact with the Gulf Arab states. It's also their wish to bring this conflict to an end as soon as possible, because right now the Gulf states is unable to sell their energy. Every day they're not selling their oil and gas. That's lots of money that they're not making. And they also not only they can't sell their oil, they also cannot import. The Gulf states, they depend heavily on import of food and everything else. So they need the restoration of the safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz, and the I think the guarantee for Iran's territorial integrity and independence is important, because Iran only start retaliation after U.S. and Israel initiate attack. So if there wasn't a attack on Iran, Strait of Hormuz will still be open. And so it all circle back to how can we hold U.S. and Israel accountable? How can we make sure if they do enter into a peace negotiation, they will do it in good faith and they will not repeat their mischief of the past, which is to attack Iran while in negotiation. Everything rests on that. It's the important of these treaties or agreement is not the paper on which it's written. It's to rebuild trust. Right now, Iran simply has no trust in United States because the very perfidious way that U.S. carry out its sneak attack in the past. But again, U.S. has to be, I think, for U.S. and Israel, because this is a war for particularly United States. This is a war of choice. For Iran, this is a war of survival.
Yeah.
They had no choice. They're fighting an existential fight for their own survival. But this is a war of choice for United States. So U.S. actually can choose to walk away, even though it is a hard pill to swallow for reasons I mentioned, that Iran would want United States out of the region. But then I think it does not benefit United States to keep dragging out the war. So and I don't think it's Trump's intention to have like a Vietnam style quagmire in the West Asia. So I think he's looking for a way out, and now it's just come down to details whether Iran will accept those terms.
How do you look at Pakistan's position in all this? I mean, steering through the storm, having a little bit of everyone on the uh, looks impossible, but it is like unfolding in front of our eyes.
Yeah, Pakistan is uniquely situated in that it has good relationship with all the Gulf Arab states. it has good relationship with United States and it has good relationship with China. So it's a perfect go between. And so this is why this is a joint statement by both Pakistan and China, joint proposal, and and you know that Pakistan probably already talked over with the Gulf states before they brought up this proposal. So essentially, this proposal is what the Gulf Arab states
Yeah.
would like to see happen. And this is the thing, like if the region was left to itself, the Gulf Arab states and Iran can perfectly make peace. They can make peace on their own. That's not the problem. The problem really is the United States, which interjected itself into the region. Um, and I think you can't really count on U.S. good intentions, because we know it has not. So the only thing is you gotta stop the United States and convince that it's fruitless and futile trying to pursue its current strategy. I think Iran is doing a good job. Iran, they have really exposed what a paper tiger U.S. military is. Not only rendering 13 U.S. bases uninhabitable, but they just yesterday they hit the Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia, where they
Yeah.
destroyed two advanced E-3 Sentry AWACS plane. Now the AWACS plane, they play a very important role. They're like the eyes, uh, you know, as we have talked about during the Indian-Pakistan conflict. The Pakistan's AWACS planes played a pivotal role in shooting down of the Indian Rafale jets. But this is what Iran. So you play it perfectly. Iran first they took out the radars uh, for the U.S. advanced anti-missile THAAD system. So without radars, those $1 billion THAAD launcher is useless. They don't know what to shoot. They don't know what to shoot. And then they attacked the communication centers at U.S. bases, and then they attacked the AWACS plane, which was brought in to serve as a backup communication center. So now Iran basically they have blinded the U.S. military.
Again.
And we can again, and we can also see that during the recent footages of people shot on their phone cameras of attack either on in Tel Aviv, Israel, or on U.S. bases at Prince Sultan Air Base, there was very little advance warning. So this tells me, the whole early warning system of the U.S. military has been broken. This is why
It's
they have
gone.
suffered so many
Yeah.
losses.
Yeah, we actually had this
Yeah.
section in the questions. The biggest asset that have been down, that have been garbaged. You've mentioned some. What do you think about the F-35s? Do you think they have been like hit?
Well, F-35, yeah, for sure. I mean,
And
it was hit.
F-16s?
Okay, so this is the thing. The Pentagon, they have been spinning all kind of tales
Yeah.
to justify their. This is a malfunction. Their USS Ford have a laundry room fire, right? Somehow the laundry room fire took 30 hours to put out, and they lost all their beds. And now that aircraft, most advanced U.S. aircraft carrier had to be towed to back to port for 14-month maintenance, which really means it's probably going to take 2 years. And then you have Trump go got in front of the television and say, they saw 17 Iranian missiles coming to the left, to the right, And the great thing about Trump is he has no filter. He just basically say, yeah, it was the Iranian missiles that did it. I mean, at this time, they might as well admit it was the Iranian missile. It's far less embarrassing to say Iranian missile hit us than say it's some laundry room fire that took out our most advanced aircraft carrier. So United States, even though it claimed to possess of 11 aircraft carrier, but actually you can only deploy four attack groups at any given time. And right now you had before they had USS Ford and USS Lincoln. USS Ford is out. USS Lincoln has put 1,000 kilometers between it and the shore of Iran. They're hiding behind the mountains of Oman, to hide from the Iranian missiles. Now the U.S. is sending another U.S. Aircraft carrier group to replace, USS Ford. But it's there's no good option for the United States. Now they say they want to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz was open before you attack Iran, and and they are also sending the Marines, the 82nd Airborne. And now there's a Wall Street Journal reported, or it was a New York Times reported. Now the total additional troops are bringing to the region will reach 17,000. But 17,000 is like peanuts when you're going against Iran. During the Iraq War, United States mobilized 250,000 troops. Right? I mean, U.S. I don't think U.S. even have that kind of sea lift capability anymore, because back then they could still deploy all those troops, because people might not have realized this. Back in during the Iraq War 20 years ago, 20 they had more ships. The U.S. Navy was a lot bigger. You had more ships. The U.S. Army still had those Army transport ships that allowed them to ship 250,000 troops to the region. Now they don't have that anymore. This is why they're trying to do this. Oh, we're going to send special forces. We're going to send some Marines. We're going to send 82nd Airborne. To do what exactly? They talk about capturing the Car Island, which is the main facility for Iran for oil export. But even if you capture, first of all, the Car Island sits deep inside the Persian Gulf. They have to somehow bypass the Strait of Hormuz. Maybe they could use bases in Kuwait to do it. But even if they do capture the island, that still does not open the Strait of Hormuz. The Car Island is over here. The Strait of Hormuz is over here, and what are they going to do? Are they going to launch an amphibious assault on the Strait of Hormuz? I mean, the Iranian coastline is very jagged. It's lined with mountain ranges. Um, if they want to do like amphibious landing, you would you would be like another Gallipoli. For people who don't know, Gallipoli is this World War I campaign when when the Allied forces tried to break through the Bosphorus Strait into Black Sea in order to supply Russia. But the Ottoman Turks held Gallipoli and pinned the Allied forces down. This is what we're looking at here. I mean, this is the exact kind of terrain on the coast of Iran. And and now they're floating out ideas, say there's a plan to send special forces to capture Iran's nuclear material. Now, of all the plans, that must be the stupidest plan coming out of Washington, and that's saying a lot. And it's right now they're just throwing shit on the wall to see what sticks. And so this is why I do think there might be the truth to, maybe US is also giving its blessing to the Pakistan uh, uh, foreign minister traveling to China to come up with a peace proposal. I mean, there is.
Yeah, it's
Go
it's
ahead.
actually it's actually you can see it. He wants to wiggle out of this. This is why this you can see relationships slowly coming into it. We were talking about assets, American assets being attacked. Yesterday night, the IRGC came out and said that they're going to attack the tech companies here in the region, which includes Meta, Apple, HP, Microsoft. Are these legit
Yeah.
targets? And the data centers that have been attacked earlier,
Uh,
how do you look at them?
yeah. Sure. I mean, Palantir, they are deeply embedded with the U.S. military. During the whole, and not just U.S. military, but Israel as well. In Israel's genocide against Gaza, they use Palantir to select targets. And same with United States. They use these Palantir and Cloud, which is from and Tropics, another AI company, to select to do target selection. So yeah, that makes them legitimate target. And guess what? All these AI companies, they thought, okay, they're being smart by building their data center in the Gulf region,
Oh,
because AI is very energy intensive. So they thought, okay, we'll just put our data center
oil
where the
is.
oil and gas are. And so now they're all under the threat of Iranian drones and missiles. I mean, it's great. I'm all for it.
Mm,
It's time these AI companies, these tech companies, being brought accountable.
mm.
They're the one who have been enabling this U.S. aggression against Iran.
Yeah, so they're like keep away to all their employees 1 kilometer away from the building, and it starts from tonight, Tehran time, 8 p.m. The warning starts from tonight. So, and the companies include Oracle, Dell, Palantir. You know what happened between Palantir and Sam Altman came in, and now everything that Palantir was doing, Sam Altman is doing. So they are legit targets, and there is a reason. And I think Iran is pretty sharp on these. They know a lot more than they tell people.